Yo, we'll be getting started in just a minute. In fact, let me find a notebook or something I can write on somewhere. Now we'll put that on a piece of paper that says, the stream's starting soon. There we go. A little Hell Witch pin here. This is not from Bell County Comic Con, but it could be. It's not, but it could be. It's not the best pin in the world, but it'll do. One of these days, I'll just get like some graphics made or something, and then you won't have to deal with my little homemade signs. But that day is not today. Oh my gosh. I forgot how to write an S. That's where I'm at in my life today. Look. It was a busy weekend, okay? It was a busy weekend. So I'm going to leave that up. I'm going to go tweet and stuff, and then we can get this party started for real. And something is wrong with my computer because I can't pop out tabs. From my browser, I mean. Like, it won't let me click and drag. Not sure what's up with that. Anyway, please enjoy the Cyberpunk 2077 soundtrack for a precious few moments, and I will be right back. Okay, I've got like a complete mess of stuff scattered all around. So while we're waiting to be able to get here, but before I get into any crazy shenanigans with my chat and stuff, I do want to show off this art book that I got in the mail while I was gone. I told the post office not to deliver to me, and yet they did anyway. It's the Art of Guez, not sure how to pronounce it, art book. I backed this on Kickstarter late last year, I think. Just came in. It looks great, except I got this like dinged corner on the dust cover. The book was shipped like unwrapped and unbubbled and stuff, just naked in cardboard. Anyway, I got a little recording I did of that. That'll go up here in a day or two. You know how it is. You know how it is. And then I got a little rags book here. That's also got a little unboxing video coming up. So anyway, you all just kind of continue looking at the stream starting soon screen, and I will be right back. I mean it. For real. Don't go anywhere. Okay. That's been like 5 minutes. I think we're ready. If we're not ready, we'll never be ready. Hope you enjoyed the little bit of music in the background, and I hope you enjoyed seeing stuff on the screen. Bell County Comic Con. It is the only convention I really go to. Sometimes there are little conventions around here in the Madison area that I attend, but they haven't had the one at that's downtown for a couple of years. I think that was like MightyCon. And the other ones, the ones run by QuadCon, are like super tiny. So I don't even think they really count. But those are where I do run into a couple people that I know, I'm acquainted with. And so those are pretty cool for that. The badge art this year has Badger in it. Very appropriate. Badge, Badger. See how it works? And I'm not really sure where to start with talking about the stream this year. That's kind of an odd thing. I still got a couple of these key rings. I think there's like 5 in here. I got like 1 or 2 that are earmarked for specific people, but I could have given away a few more. I know Rob Kuro was at the con, and I saw him, but I didn't know he was Rob Kuro at the time, and by the time I did know he was gone. But I did run into Solid Halon, and he got one of these, and he got a couple of the stickers. I also got some stickers left from a couple years ago. I still keep them in their little sticker mule pack just to keep them safe. And so he got some of that stuff, and in return, he gave me... I should get that stream starting soon out of here, too, because I guess technically we've started. And the music got real loud, didn't it? Hey, Taxi, well, you can have stickers. Everybody can have stickers. Stickers are easily available. It ain't hard to ship stickers, man. You just throw them in an envelope, slap a sticker on them. Little like a sticker that's got like price in, like 25 cents or whatever value, and whoosh, it just magically gets to wherever they're supposed to go. Kind of cool. But Solid Halon was there cosplaying as Father Redder, the character from Soulfinder here. And so he gave me this cool little like pseudo rosary deal. So I wore that at the Comic-Con all day. I was even, when I was over talking to Chuck Norris, like we had our photo together, hanging out with him, and this ended up in it. It was kind of cool. Hey, it's a Ninja Weasel. Welcome, Mr. Weasel. We're really just getting started, man. The first, 5 minutes of the stream was just listening to cyberpunk music while I got some stuff ready. It's kind of cool. I credit this with protecting me from being killed by being in Chuck Norris's presence. Solid Halon seemed like a cool dude. He's probably the only person there that came from further away than I did, because he had to fly from Puerto Rico, I think? That's quite the trek. Actually, I don't know if Puerto Rico is further away than I am, but man, just having to go over an ocean to get to a convention, that's something. That is something. Anyway, I got that. And this is a good way to segue into talking about stuff I did and people and things like that. So after trying to see Chuck Norris and getting turned away the first day on day 1, and if you might have seen some of the pictures on Discord of the line and that poor security guy who was pacing back and forth where's Chuck, where's Chuck, let's get the cops in here, it was getting a little serious. But after that, I went over to the Iconic booth and I was like, yo, Doug. I think he was the first one I talked to, because Tim and Mark were busy. Matt Weldon's side of the table was always super busy. So I went and I talked to Doug first. He was like, there you are. And he gave me this cool little tote bag, which is great because until he gave me that, I had nothing to put stuff in. All I had was my little folio, which is meant to hold, maybe 10 comic books. Because I only took one thing down there with me. I should have took 2. I forgot one of them. It was a busy day. But he gave me this bag, and so I rocked this bag the whole rest of the convention, and it was dope. It came in super handy. I got stuff in it right now. We'll look at that stuff later. It had this little pouch right here. I took all the stuff out of the pouch, like this little thing here. I just tucked it in there. It was super convenient. So he gave me that. Let me see. Where did it go? Here it is. He also gave me this. You open it up. Jewelry pouch. It's a little Chiro shield that Father Redder's order rocks. It's pretty cool looking. It's pretty dope looking, you gotta admit. And if you don't want to admit it, that's okay, because the truth is self-evident. So he gave me that. And where did the book go? Hold on. I've lost a book. I thought I had it right on top of this. Oh, there it is. Found it. It ended up on the bottom of the stack. He gave me the one Soul Finder book I didn't have, which is pretty cool. Signed it. You can see the Doug Ernst right there. And the thing I forgot to take down is I got a copy of Moon Knight, where the villain was named Ernst. And I was going to get him to sign that, but I forgot at the last second, and that's okay. It's always next year, you know? Always next year. So he gave me this stuff, and I'm like, dude, you got to take some money from me. You can't just give me stuff. Like, I'm not here for freebies. I'm here to hang out and talk to people and have a good time. So he's like, well, the only other thing I got that you don't already own is this cool Soul Finder tumbler. So I got this son of a gun. It's got Matt Weldon's art on it, kind of embossed in gold or etched. Hold on. It's etched in, so it's, I guess it's not really gold. It's like the aluminum. So they've etched the plastic out, and there's the aluminum. It almost looks like silver gold. It's kind of cool looking in person. I don't know that it's really coming through on the screen. The screen. There we go. It was definitely kind of cool. So I talked with him. I BS'd with him for a good, I don't know, probably half hour, an hour or something, man. Hung out with him. We had a good time. I helped pitch his book to other people when they walked by and stuff. And man, he said combat veteran exorcist like 3 or 4 times in my presence. And that was one of his comments, was like, man, I wonder how many times Tim has heard me say that, because Tim Lim was right next door. Hold on. Let me actually draw the layout of the iconic booth. Jeez, look how hard I wrote that stream starting soon. It's like permanently embedded in this notepad. This Hell Witch pin kind of sucks, bro. Kind of sucks. So the booth. So you got like Tim and Mark, Scott Malin, and that other guy here, Alejandro, was there. Matt Weldon was here. Bill Williams had this little nook right here. Eric Canetti was over here. And then Doug was right there. There's a little gap here and a little gap right there. So they all had their own little areas. Some people had a little more space than others, and that's because they had more stuff to flog. Like Alejandro just had like his one book and a bunch of prints. But yeah, so I came down. There was a booth over here. Booth all up here. I think the end of that booth was like right here. Rudy Youngblood over here. He's the I think he's the guy that did all the running in Apocalypto. The wrestler Lita was down here, and Lightning from Big Trouble in Little China was right here, I believe. So I think there was somebody else here, and I can't remember who. And then there was a booth like right across over here and up here and stuff. And this was like the official merch booth over here too. So yeah, I came over here and I was hanging out with Doug. And so we had a good chat, man. We joked around, kind of caught up a little bit, you know. Had a good time. Had a good time. He's a pretty cool dude. So I already mentioned Solid Halon. There were a couple other people that I vaguely know that I didn't get to see while I was there, because I didn't know who they were until afterwards. And that's okay, man. There was also this dude. I should have said hi to him because I really like his YouTube channel. Let me click over here. Because like his main content is he has the panels from Bill County Comic Con as like his thing. So he sets up with like 2 cameras and he just goes to town recording this stuff. And I like the positioning here because you can't see Tim Lim at all. That's the artist that does Flork. I don't remember his name. Flork is a really disturbing webcomic, but he seems like a pretty chill dude. Anyway, click back over here. Get the music going again. Anyway, from here on, I forget like the exact order I talked to people in. I probably went around and talked to Bill next, and we kind of hung out a little bit and chatted because out of this whole table, Bill Williams' little section right here is the least busy. You know, his is like the only section that doesn't have a whole lot of stuff spread out. Like Doug's got like 4 books, prints, all that kind of stuff. Bill's got like 2 boxes of comics, a stack of Punchline books, and he's got a box of original art and prints that nobody looked through the entire time I was there. So I probably hung out with him next. And I bought Punchline 14, the regular cover from him, because my shop only got me like the expensive variant cover. So he signed it right there. And Matt Weldon signed it too, because they were sitting right next to each other. And they also had these little mini prints that they were giving away. So I got one of them too. Punchline's kind of a cool book if you've never read it. She's just a girl. She gets powers because she's like one of the daughters of Hercules or something like that. And she's like replacing somebody else who kind of disgraced them and stuff because she's kind of a murder bot and loves to kill the bad guys. Good book. Bill's a cool guy, man. I probably talked to him the most out of everybody because he had the least busy section of the booth, which is not a reflection on the man, probably just a reflection on his layout of stuff because it was pretty suboptimal, and I think he knows it. Like when we were wrapping up on Sunday afternoon at like 5:30, Matt came over and was like, "Wait, you got prints and you're not even selling them?" He's like, "Yeah." So I digress. We're gonna have too much stuff for me to keep stacking here. So I need to just get some stuff out of the way. Maybe go ahead and put this back in its little Badoo bag right there. Set that aside so I don't lose it. We'll probably look at that picture later. Put Warcry over here on top of that art book I got in the mail. Go ahead and make sure this is empty. This little pouch was super handy. Okay, it is empty. Cool. We got some stuff in here we'll get to in a second. The other thing I got to say about Bill Williams was on Sunday, I was talking to him and I'm like, man, even though I showed up like early, right? Even though I showed up early for early badge pickup on Friday, I didn't get one of the little guide books. It's like, really? And I'm like, yeah. You're like, here, you can have mine. I'm just going to throw it away anyway. So he gave me his little guidebook, and then he went and signed it. His is the only signature in here. Let me see if I can find the page where they're supposed to sign stuff. Wow, I can't find the page where they're supposed to sign stuff. Well, his signature's in here somewhere, I swear. But, hey, you know what? This is a good thing. This is the whole map. So yeah, you come in here, and then that's where I went to. Chuck Norris was all the way over here, along with Bryce Papenbrook or something like that. I don't remember his name, but he's apparently like a voice actor in a million animes. And he and Chuck Norris were the only 2 people that were so backed up that people could not get in to see them. Oh, I'm so glad I got this out and saw the map in here because we are going to be using this map a lot. Yeah, there's Lightning. I'm pretty sure he was the dude next to Jason Youngblood. And like, I don't know, there's that other guy, Papenbrook. That's the dude that was next to Chuck Norris, and he had a line that was as long as Chuck's. I was very surprised. I was very surprised by that fact. Dude, where's the signature supposed to go? Somebody was looking for this booth, and none of us knew what the booth numbers was, so none of us could actually help that person find him. But, you know, it's actually kind of cool. A transformer that's also an aircraft carrier. I haven't been to the Bit Bar, but I know they went there after we had dinner on Saturday. Dude, where's the frickin' signatures? I cannot find the signature page. Isn't that the way it goes? You want to find something and you can't? Hey, there's Scott Malin's book. I backed that. It's about like alternate universe plane racing in an alternate 1920s or something. Kind of cool. Look at this. It's almost like iconic in this convention, or very tightly bound up. Oh yeah, there it is. Signature page. There's Bill Williams right there. That's way cool. That's way cool. Thank you so much, Bill. Oh, there's Alejandro's book. I've reviewed this, I'm pretty sure, on YouTube a long time ago. It's an absolutely, like, great body horror book. It's disgusting to look at. Let's see. So I met Chuck Norris. I met Eric Estrada. They were both pretty cool dudes. Chuck Norris was very kind. Like 2 or 3 groups of people in front of me, there was a girl in a wheelchair and 2 other kids. And he came, Chuck didn't get up. Like, I want to emphasize that. Like, Chuck Norris just sat down. You came to him and had to crouch down next to him. And for the little girl in the wheelchair, Chuck Norris got up and went out there and gave her a hug and gave the other 2 kids hugs. One of the kids was in the Pikachu costume. They all got hugs. One of the kids got like a high five, and great time. It was a great time. He seemed pretty nice. He seemed surprisingly nice for someone who can destroy you with a glance. Very cool. And Eric Estrada was Eric Estrada, man. He had the energy and the juice. I got another Eric Estrada story. We'll get to that later. We'll get to that later. So the short version of this is, it was pretty good. My day 1 was spent waiting on Chuck Norris and getting nowhere. Going to the Iconic booth and hanging out with them, looking around down here a little bit, and also popping up stairs to Hall D for one of the panels, which was okay. I got nothing wrong with going and seeing a panel, man. They're all right. They're all right. Let's see. So where should I go next? Talked Bill Williams, and I talked about how cool he was. Oh, I don't know if Matt Weldon was next in line, but I might as well dig out Matt Weldon here and start talking about Matt Weldon. We got stuff, and let me just get over here and double check this and make sure everything is cool. I've completely lost the window. Where's it at? Oh, there it is. All right. Hey, and if you're out there watching this right now, this is a great opportunity for you to be like, oh man, you know what? I really just want to give a thumbs up on this video, because this Eliza Bar guy, he talks a lot. And I like the talking. I like the word talks. Anyway, Matt Weldon, I might have just casually said something like this earlier, but Matt Weldon had probably the busiest booth at Bell County Comic Con. Just straight up, like, he was always there. Like, he didn't eat on the first day, I don't think. He didn't eat on the first day, I don't think, because he had like a muffin. He meant to eat at like 9 a.m., and he did not. Making the air noises, Horb, yeah. Let's tie this into City of Heroes, man. You know, that's one thing I'd like to do, is commission Matt Weldon to draw some of my City of Heroes characters. I love the way he does hair. So anyway, he had probably the busiest booth. Like, you get there... Alright, I got papers and stuff everywhere. Get here, and there's always like 4 people here. Right here, he's got a box of his kitties. There's like a $1 print box of stuff he's trying to get rid of. Then there's his book of nicer prints you flip through, and those are like $5 each. And apparently he gets yelled at by other artists and stuff because his stuff is too cheap. Because normally a art print like this one, which he signed all my stuff, man. I didn't even ask him to. He just did it. Normally a print like this costs like $10, $15. And he sold me this for $1. And the nicer ones he had, he sold for $5. So other artists hate the man for that. I have no idea who this character is, by the way. I just really like the energy of it. Like the dog, the monkey. Like the whole thing just looks fantastic. I got no idea what this is. I bought this one as a gift. I'm going to send this to that was yeah, these are both $. All this stuff I'm about to show you was $1. Look at this Transmetropolitan poster I bought for Sarago. It's going to cost me like $10 to ship it to him, but it cost me $1 to buy. Like he's gonna get this and he's gonna be like, oh, this is amazing. This was the one that first caught my eye though, right here. Generation X poster. I saw this and I was like, oh man, I'm gonna end up leaving here after buying some of this stuff. Like the Jubilee down front, and I think that's Hope Summers up there, right? No. Is that Marrow? Shoot. I don't remember. You got Chamber over here, and I honestly don't remember like most of the Generation X characters, but I love this poster, man. The composition of it, the colors pop, and his like line work on the hair. Too good. Let's see. There's this little X-Men poster here that has Rocket on it for some reason. Not quite sure what's going on there. Also for $1. And I also got this Rogue and Gambit Mr. and Mrs. X. He told me something here, and I don't think I can tell you about it. But Matt Weldon may have something cooking with those characters. And then I got one more print from him, which is Felicia from Darkstalkers, but that's not why I bought it. It's a great print. Look at the hair. Look at the hair. It's too good. It's too good. That's not why I bought it. This print is actually on the back of a piece of original art he doodled when I forget who, it might have been his nephew, told him he needed to charge more for his prints, so he made this sign with Raphael on it. So he just sold me this original art sign with a print on the back for $1. The man's crazy. So I think he hates money, which is okay, because he has the busiest table. These prints probably only cost like 75 cents to make anyway, so he's like, on these dollar prints, he's probably breaking even on this stuff. This material, like making these and selling them for so cheap, not hurting the man financially. Especially because a lot of these are like the kind of scratch and dents. They've got like little dinged corners and stuff. So it's things that he's just trying to get rid of. But it's great. He's super busy all the time because of these things. Let me get these down here laying flat. I mentioned over here he had like a little pile of boxes of cards. And those cards are what he calls his kitties. I don't know what these cost to print, but they can't be too expensive. And they're also just $1 each. Let me get these out of here. Oh, we'll show them all. Some of these he didn't give me. These came from the Tim Lim, Mark Pellegrini side, and they threw those in my bag when I wasn't, like, they gave these to me while I wasn't looking, man. I can't get away from these people without them giving me stuff. But anyway, those are like his kitties. So that's Common America, and that's the girl from USAGI, Black Hops. I can't remember her name at the moment. But I bought 5 of those little cards from Matt Weldon. I got this one as a gift to give somebody. Little Miles Morales as a cat. Shoot, we can arrange this better. There we go. Something like that, maybe. Then I got this one to give to Morikiopa. Little Poison Ivy. Miles Morales, yeah. There you go. These, however, I got for myself. We're listening to cyberpunk music. Here's some cyberpunk kitties. It all ties together, man. It all ties together. I swear there's a method to my madness. It's just a method that only I understand. But I grabbed those 3. So it's like $5 right there. And this is like his most popular thing. On that first day, his card bins were like half wiped out. And he restocked them, and then they were hit pretty hard the second day. The dude must have sold like, I don't know, 500 of these things. Everybody was going through those bins and picking out 7, 10, 15 of them. Because they're such a cheap doodad, right? You go somewhere and you're like, oh man, hey, I want to buy a print, and I'm not picking this to knock Mark and Tim. I want to be clear on that. They gave this to me. But, you know, you go to another artist booth and they're like, oh, hey, what you want? And like the entry point for getting something from that artist, this is a great print. By the way, it's really gorgeous. And the entry point is $10 minimum. Everything's going to be $10 or more. Not at Matt Weldon. At Matt Weldon's table, it's $1. Like, you can get in, get you a whole bunch of merchandise, some gifts to give other people, and it's just a freaking buck. Matt Weldon is an absolute madman. He is completely insane. He needs to be stopped. And I hope nobody manages to stop him, because he had the most popular booth. He may not have sold a lot of high price stuff, but he sold a whole lot of stuff, and he made a lot of people happy. There were a lot of smiles walking away from his side of the table, and he signed it all. Like, he signed these dudes. I didn't ask him to, and he signed pretty much everybody's stuff. The only reason these aren't signed is after they were given to me, I didn't go over there and ask him to sign them. Otherwise, he'd have been like, "Drp, drp." He's a very nice man, what I'm getting at. But yeah, I like these little cyberpunk kitties, man. I think they're too cool. I think they're too cool. That's not even my genre of stuff. Like, I like cute stuff, but that's not like what I'm into. But those cyberpunk ones, they caught my eye. And yeah, I'm gonna send one of these. I'm gonna send the Miles Mialas to somebody as a gift, and I'm gonna send that one to Mori Kiopa. I think Mori can use a little pick-me-up, because it sounds like he's having kind of a bum year over there. Okay, let's see. You know what? Where's my pen? Where'd that pen go? I should cross off who I've talked about. Bill was a super cool guy, by the way. Like, out of everybody here, he's like the most normal kind of guy. Like, you could just sit down with Bill and have a beer and talk about bowling or whatever. And he had some interesting things, but we'll talk about some of that stuff a little later on, after I think about whether I can talk about it or not without breaking any confidences. Let's see. I popped over to Eric Canetti. Let me get his books out. I don't know Eric, so I just kind of met him and like bought some stuff from him. So he's got 3 issues of Arc Athena. These are hardbacks. I think these 3 ran me $40. They're 15 regular. For a hardback book. Think about it. These dudes are selling like hardbacks for like 10, 15 bucks. Like, if you went over to Doug Ernst's side of the table, he'll sell you the hardback Soulfinder books for $10 and the trade paperbacks for $5. If you've ever heard of somebody who's an absolute lunatic when it comes to pricing stuff and you thought Matt Weldon was crazy, it costs $10. Like, if I were to go print this book, like 100 of these, it would probably cost me like $15 a pop. Like, I don't see how they're doing this, but they are. So yeah, this is a crowdfund or whatever. I didn't back, but Eric Canetti's got cool looking art on the inside. The line art's so, like, super solid. I was gonna say cool and solid at the same time. It came out as Soul. That is not a good word. The line art is solid. The color's cool. The panel layouts look kind of cool. So he went through and he signed all these dudes for me. So that's really all I gotta say about Eric Canetti. He had a fairly busy table, and he was always signing something for somebody. Somebody was always buying something from him. But he only ever had like one dude at a time, unlike Matt Weldon, who would have like 4 people vying for his attention at any given moment. I can't show you the front page because they signed my real name. I should have told him Elizabeth. Okay, well, anyway, Scott Malin is the artist, and I can't remember the writer's name, and I apologize. I do apologize. So I backed their crowdfund for that Kindred Heavens book that we saw on one of the pages in here. And this is their old webcomic in a printed edition. So I picked this up. They both signed it. And I can show you the bottom half of the page, but not the top half. Because there's a big thank you, Eliza Bar, up at the top. The book is about a girl who uses the power of underwear to fight evil plushies or something. Like, it makes no sense to me. But, you know, I was like, sure, I'm going to buy this. It was like 10 or 15 bucks. Not a big deal. It looks like it might be kind of funny. So, that's really all I did talking to Scott Malin and his writer. Oh, I said hi to Alejandro over here. I didn't really have a whole lot to talk about. We just talked about his book for a minute and was like, yeah, hey, cool, hey, it's great to see you again, yada, 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 that kind of stuff. I honestly felt a little bit lame talking to him. Oh, we talked about Eric. Then Tim and Mark, it was hard catching both of them at the same time. But, you know, I talked to Mark, I talked to Tim, I talked to Mark and Tim, kind of back and forth. And they loaded me up with stuff. They had that print, those 2 little cards. Hold on, there's a sticker here somewhere. Got it. I just got to reopen the plastic bag. So they gave me this little sticker here. Pretty cute. This art appeared in the book somewhere too. It's kind of cool. And then they gave me this, like, the MVP trading card. Apparently only 3 people outside of me at the time I got this had one of these. So that's kind of cool. Probably Rob Kuro, Solid Halon, myself. I don't know. I don't know who the others would be. I signed it on the back. Very shway. Very cool. So talk about a limited edition thing. I got a whole big pile of these little screw down deals that I use for my art cards now. I got a bunch of these as a present. So I'm going to lock this dude down inside of one of these things to protect it. Because it's a pretty unique artifact. There's not that many of them floating out there in the wild. So later, towards the end of day 1, I went back and I'm like, that's when Tim handed me all this stuff. He's like, hey, you want anything else? I'm like, wait, let me get the exact conversation down. I said, Tim, what do you got that you can sell me? And he's like, I don't have anything you don't already have. What do you get the man who has everything, right? It's an ancient, lifelong problem that people have had for centuries. Well, like, well, I don't have one of those sketch cover books. He's like, oh, those are $100. He was like surprised. I was going to spend money. I'm like, Tim, I'm trying to give you money here. You bet I'll take one of these. He's like, all right, well, who do you want? I'm like, I don't know. And he told me, like, most of the requests he'd gotten had been for common ramen. He'd done one Misha, a bunch of common ramens that day, and that was it. And then he was like, hey, wait, I got an idea. Why don't I do a one-off, like a one-of-a-kind that I'm never going to repeat? A Marmot Maiden and Hinchi. So there it is. A little sketch cover. He says it's the only one he's ever going to do. And Tim, if you're listening to this, you don't have to hold to that. If somebody else requests it, dude, you don't need to ask me permission. You have it. Like, I'm not going to hold you to that promise, dude, at all. Mainly because it's so dang cute. And if you want to see a video of him working on this, man, I got it linked over on my Discord server. You can pop in and go to the Discord exclusive video channel or whatever I call it. And you can you can check that out. But Tim and Mark, they were pretty busy too, man. They had to work hard to sell their book to people. Matt didn't have to work hard to sell anything to anybody because they were just buying his prints. He'd be like, hey, you know, here's these are $1, these are $1, these are $5. See something you like, take a look, yada yada yada. But Tim and Mark were like actually pitching their book to people, so they were busy, almost as busy, just in a different kind of way. Matt was like trying to contain the chaos, whereas Tim and Mark were actually selling their book and talking to people. Oh, and I'm probably going to get his name wrong, and I apologize in advance. I met one of their buddies who was there helping set stuff up. I think he's kind of come on as like a iconic booth setter-upper person or something like that. I think his name was Eric. It was real noisy in there when I heard his name, so I may not have gotten it right. He was a pretty cool dude. He was telling me about like every comic book store in the state of Texas, which was kind of fun to hear about. Some of them sound absolutely gigantic. And if I'm ever down there for business sometime, I might have to go check some out. But very cool. Very cool, you know, personalized, one-off sketch cover, hand-drawn in real time while I watched. It took him about 10 minutes to do this son of a gun. He busted out the Copic markers and everything, and I think it turned out fabulous. I love Hinchi's little face right there. It's too good. Alright, let me very gently set this aside. I gotta put this in a Mylar so it's protected. I'm gonna just put that over there. Instead of my usual, I'll stack it in a pile on the floor thing. And let's see. We talked about Eric Estrada. We talked about Chuck Norris a little bit. We'll talk about the Chuck Norris fiasco in a little more detail here in a minute. And I went over to Hall C and took a look around. I looked at every booth except these guys over here, and I came back and I looked at those later. Let's see. There was a Batmobile over here somewhere, and I got photos of my mom and that. That was a lot of fun. She went down there with me. Hydrate so I don't blow. Oh, hey. You know what? I got a whole big copper glass full of stuff here. Dunkashane. Whew. Oh, there were vendor booths in Hall E? Bro, I didn't realize there were more vendors over there. And the vendors that are in Hall D, I miss them every year. So here's like, you come in here and you go around like this to get into this area. And I always forget that this is a thing. I need to actually say hi to them at some point. Yeah, Hall B right there. Hall D is upstairs over top of this. It like fits in right on top of this building and it overlooks the floor. So yeah, while I was waiting on Chuck Norris on the second day, went over to Hall C and I looked around. I met Flork. He was sitting like right here. Dave Dorman was next to him, but I didn't have anything. I don't know Dave Dorman. I don't have anything for him. And then these last couple booths over here were the Antarctic Press booth. Let's talk about AP. I have more to say about AP, but it's related to the dinner, so we'll get to that in the after the show part of this. About the hardcover of Teether, I think it was like $30 or something. David Hutchison was right there. He signed it. And Ben Dunn was there, so I talked with Ben Dunn a little bit. I'd met him sort of the previous night. Very scary book. I've been interested in this book for a long time, but the covers always kind of put me off. It like ticks off some phobia box I have. So I can't really... yeah, that's better. I can't really stand to look at it for very long. It like gets to me deep down, which I guess is the point. Like, it's a scary book, right? So the creator signed it for me, and oh my lord, dude, I didn't even flip open the book. I just picked it up and I'm like, yeah, you know what? I've had my eye on this for a long time, but it scares me. I'm gonna go for it. So they looked like they were doing okay over there. This hall was very busy. It was jam-packed with people. Oh. There were some really cool costumes. I need to come back and talk about those in a minute. But I'm going to go ahead and say I was turning the corner right here, and I ran into him a couple of times. There was an R2-D2. Like, I guess there was a dude inside of it. Did it come with free floss? No, Taxi, it did not. It's a bring your own floss kind of book. If you ain't got any floss, you got to stop at Walgreens and get some. Or what's a Canadian pharmacy? Stop at the Canadian Tire Company and get some. Because you just... I'm not looking at the book right now. I'm trying real hard not to look down at all those teeth. So I'm looking at my monitor instead. You know, get the Canadian Tire Company floss with your Canadian Tire Company money, and you'll be okay. You'll be okay. They'll hook you up. They'll hook a brother up. There was a really cool R2-D2 roaming around the floor, which was awesome. Let's see. I also met Flork over here. Where is that? He was giving out free doodles. He was like, "Hey, who do you want as a doodle?" So Flork, if you don't know his art, it's like this. Every character is pretty much a little sock puppet. Hey, One Eyes 224, and so I'm like talking to him, like, "Hey, man." He's like, "What character do you want?" I'm like, he had the little plushie badger, the capybara, who's not on the cover here. There he is, on the back cover. And so I was like, "Hey, how about Badger as a sock puppet?" So boom, he doodled that for me in about 30 seconds. Way cool. I showed this to Tim and Mark both, and they both took photos of it, which I thought was really fun. In fact, if you go on their Twitter, I think Mark Pellegrini is the one that posted his photo of this. Very fun. Flork seemed like a nice guy. He seemed like a nice enough guy. I don't know where I want to put it. You know what? I'll just stick this right here. That card. I came back to him later and I said hi and took a picture with him because when I first got there, like 2 other groups of people showed up like right behind me. This is also where I met Solid Halon, who gave me that little like corded rosary thing. I met him over in this area too. Kind of cool. Kind of cool. There was a lot of people and a lot of vendors. This was a very busy place. The only other thing I bought over here, that's a knick-knack and not a book. Or, no, let me rephrase that whole sentence. The only thing I bought that was a knick-knack and not a book on the whole trip Because I got some stuff for free, and that doesn't count. And I don't count the little art cards as knickknacks. Like, that's art. But I got this little pin as a knickknack. And I'm going to send that to 6F Cyrus as a little gift. Nobody tell him about it. Like, let this just be a surprise when it shows up in his mailbox. But he's like super into Star Wars stuff, and as soon as I saw this, I knew it was like the perfect gift for the man. So hopefully he appreciates it. I don't know if he likes coffee, but I figured the dark side and the little Vader mask would do the trick for him. It's cool when you go out there and you see stuff and you get that immediate, yo, this is perfect for this person I know feeling. And then you find out that the thing's like pretty decently priced. I think that was like $5. Little custom pin for $5. That's okay in my book. That's okay in my book any day of the week. Let's see. Oh, right. This stuff in the floor. Oh yeah, while we were inside, every car in the parking lot got hit with this. Like, I'm not going to be there in January, but if you happen to be in Belton, Texas, or Waco, Texas, in January 20th to 21st, 2024, I don't know why you would be. You'd buy too many trinkets? Yeah, it's hard to resist, man. It's hard to resist. But you might want to check that out. I don't know why I kept the flyer, but I did. Then there was this lonely, forlorn booth. I'm trying to think of where. Yeah, I guess they were right here. They were right next to Flork. A little forlorn booth that had like 4 artists. Oh, welcome back to Les Bar. Hey, thank you, Pio Giro. And those dudes were trying to sell their book, and they didn't look like they were having a very busy day. So I stopped and I talked to him. I'm just like, sell me your book. And instead of telling me what the book was really about, he went in this super deep like lore dive. Somebody's like the 99th resurrection or reincarnation of King Arthur, and he was just like going off into like some heavy duty stuff territory. And I'm just like, dude, I just wanted to know, like, is your book about like ninjas fighting pirates or what? And I don't know. But the art inside the book looks pretty cool. Everybody at the tables, everybody they had at the table, signed this for me. They're like local in Texas. They're like based out of Waco or something. So they're like an hour away from where the convention was at. And their line is called Universe Alpha. They've got like 3 titles, I think. There's this one, and then there's like 2 other books that they're doing. So I'll be sure to give this a read and do a little review at some point here. After I get caught back up, because I am super behind on everything. I got books from last week I gotta read. XLG81 says, wrong account, lol. Oh, so One Eyes 224 is secretly you, XLG? Well, welcome to the party. Welcome to the stream. You missed a lot of juicy stuff, man. You might want to go back and rewatch some of it, however long you've been here. But yeah. Cool looking little indie book. I had to pick it up because I'm that kind of guy. It's like, you see people out there that are, how do I put it? They're pursuing their dreams and they're having a hard time, and they need that little morale lift. They need that little boost. Dude, I saw Eric Estrada. We'll go back to that page in a second. We're going to be talking about not at the convention floor stuff, so we can talk about Eric Estrada again. Let me set this book aside. I got one more thing I got to talk about before we get to talking about that, and that is her. I think she works for these dudes, which is why she's on the back here, Jack's Collectibles. And I saw her at dinner, but I didn't know who she was. And I was walking by her booth on my way to Chuck Norris, and there was this totally sweet paprika cover that she had painted sitting there. So I was like, you know what? If that's still there whenever I walk by again, I'm going to buy it. And sure enough, I walked by again, and it was still there. So I bought it from her. I think she said something like this was the first cover, like that she custom painted cover, custom sketch cover, whatever, that she had sold. So that's pretty cool. Got to make her day. She seemed pretty nice. Whew. Okay, let's see. I need to like flip over to the guest page. Yeah, here we go. So now to get back to people and stuff like that. I met these two fine gents. XLG, you missed my story about Chuck Norris. Oh, hold on. Actually, before we get there, I don't think I mentioned this. Or maybe I did already and I forgot. But this is the one book I took down there to get signed. And, yeah, I can't remember if I already talked about this or not. I know I meant to. And so I got Mark Pellegrini's signature, the writer. I got Tim Lim's signature down here. I got Doug Ernst because the Soulfinder cast is in here. And I thought that this cover was Matt Weldon. I'm apparently wrong. I thought it was Matt Weldon art with somebody else coloring it because look at the hair. I was wrong about that, but he was gracious enough because Versima does show up in the book. He not only signed it, but he did a little remark in the corner of the book for me. Matt Weldon is like one of the nicest guys you will ever meet. I don't know how anybody can not like him. He is too nice of a person. In hindsight, I should also got Bill Williams to sign it because he writes Punchline, so he writes for Sima, but oh well. Oh well. Alright, I'm going to go take a drink here as the music kind of dies off, so I'm going to leave you in abject silence for like 10 seconds. You'll just have to deal with it. All right. So Saturday, I got invited by Matt Weldon to tag along with them to dinner. So I tagged along with him to dinner. And want to know where I bought my shirt? You mean the shirt I was wearing in that one picture, or some of those pictures? Dude, that was just like from the Big and Tall shop 20 years ago, man. Like, there's nothing special about that shirt. So yeah, I went out with Matt Weldon, Bill Williams, and Matt's nephew, whose name I'm blanking on. And maybe I shouldn't say it anyway, because I don't want to dox the guy. He seems like a nice enough kid. And dinner was at Dynasty. Hold on, can I pull that up? Dynasty? Dynasty, Temple, Texas. This loads. Yeah, here we go. So this is where we had dinner. There were apparently 2 private dining rooms, and so me, Matt Weldon, Bill Williams, we were in one private dining room. Eric Estrada was in the other one with pretty much everybody else from the convention. So in the dining room we were in, there was I think there's pictures in here. Hold on, let me just pick this up and like flip through it real quick. Not seeing it. Nope. Okay. Well, I call Chuck Norris. Yep. That's the face of somebody who has to deal with Chuck Norris and doesn't have one of these things from Solid Halon. This protected me. But yeah. So apparently Eric Estrada was quite the character. I did meet him. He's a very cool guy. He held my cell phone. He's the one that took the pictures of us together, which is kind of cool. Chuck Norris was also pretty cool. Although I basically spent 2 days trying to get to see Chuck Norris. It was a 2-day affair. And at dinner in the room I was in, there was 3 dudes from... Oh, shoot! Where'd it go? There were 3 people from here. Jack's Cars, Toys, and Games. There was this big dude in a Hawaiian shirt. long hair. I think his name was Sonny. I could be wrong about that. If I am, I apologize. There was a guy in a ball cap, and I don't know what his name was. I never learned it. And then there was her, Tessa. And I need to go find her on Twitter real quick. Hold on. What's her handle? Tessa Sketch. Tessa Sketch. Sorry, I was not prepared for this part. Tessa. So that's her name is Tessa Rose? Okay. Did she get that picture of me buying her book and put it up here yet? No, she hasn't. Okay. I was just seeing if she had. She took a picture of me buying that cover, and I don't see it here. That's all right. That is all right. I will go ahead and follow her. Oh, let me hit like on those posts, and there's the follow. Okay. Anyway, I digress. So they were there. Let's see. Then Matt Weldon, Bill Williams, Matt's nephew, myself, Tim Lim's wife, and his mother-in-law came in with the little baby, with Tim's baby. And so, our little group, we just had a good time. One end of the table down here were the... and Ben and Joe Dunn, from Antarctic Press, they were there as well. And so their end of the table was busy eating crab legs. Ben Dunn had a stack of crab legs that was probably about as tall as his book on a plate in front of him after he got done, man, because he just kept cracking them. He'd be like crack, pull, twist. No, crack, twist, pull. And then he'd get like a chopstick and he'd push the inside of the meat out of the leg and stuff. It was like, okay. Matt Weldon had trouble actually eating his, like cracking them open and getting the stuff out. So Sonny, this big dude from Jack's, was cracking them open for him. In fact, at one point, Matt had a big crab claw, right? And he couldn't crack that son of a gun. So Sonny comes over, he picks it up, like butter and stuff. It's just going everywhere, everywhere. And he just puts it between his hands and he just squeezes and just goes, crack. And then he hands it back to Matt, and Matt can get the stuff out of it. I do not want to shake hands with that guy because he's a little intimidating. Meanwhile, in like the dining room, the other private dining room, the bigger private dining room with all the actual celebrities, all these dudes, except I guess Chuck Norris, because nobody mentioned Chuck being there, but Eric Estrada was there. They were having a good time. It was apparently super loud, and Eric Estrada was just like ruling the place like he was the king, which he's Eric Estrada. Who can blame him? Who can blame him? If you're Eric Estrada, go for it. Oh, and apparently Timothy Lim's wife and the baby, they're like supposed to call Eric Estrada Uncle Punch. Which I find somewhat endearing. Like that's fun. That's nice. Like I said, Eric Estrada seemed like a pretty decent kind of guy. I got no qualms, man. Our interaction together was a great time. Let's see. What else we got to talk about? There's a little bit of business talked, mainly when I was at dinner. I'm not going to go into any particulars, but it was about and Bill Williams mentioned this to me later, too, when we were talking on Sunday, the next day. But he's thinking about, how to sell more books, right? Like, the form factors matter. Like, retailers sell a lot of manga. In fact, I was just in a Barnes & Noble a couple weeks ago, and the graphic novel section had shrunk considerably, and all that shelf space was now manga. So he's like trying to figure out how to get in on that market. Like, what do you got to do? Everything looks fine on my end. Oh, wait, is the stream back? Is the stream back? I just saw it kick back in right after I talked. Okay, I don't know where we left off. Oh, hey, I see in my stream log. There's a couple of, yeah, stream is disconnected, attempted to reconnect a few seconds ago. It also apparently happened 28 minutes ago. I have no idea what I was in the middle of talking about at that time. I apologize. I don't know what's going on there. So I better wrap this up quick just in case there's something crazy going on with my internet, because I don't want to like drop out completely. Yeah, we just talked some good stuff together, man. We had a really great time. Saturday I kind of dipped out early, like at 4:30 or something. Sunday I was there till almost 6. And good Lord, let me tell you that Texas weather, my car was like, yo, it's 109 out here. What are you doing, you absolute maniac? And I'm just like, it ain't me, car. In fact, I got a thing of chapstick in the car, and the wax had melted in it completely and reshaped itself, which is kind of crazy. That's how hot it was, man. You can melt wax. Probably the only negative thing I gotta say is the Chuck Norris and Bryce Papenbrook lines. On day 1, the lines were just kind of permanently closed because there were so many people in line. They weren't letting anybody else line up because, you know, they got to be able to have traffic flow. So on day 2, they went to like a, yo, here's a ticket to get in line kind of system. But you couldn't hear the ticket queue if you weren't in Hall A. Like if you were over in Hall C where all the vendors were, you couldn't hear the announcer because he was a DJ over the local PA. So that kind of sucked. Basically, it meant I spent 2 whole days trying to get in line to see, well, a day and a half to get in line to see Chuck Norris. Kind of suboptimal. Kind of sucked. Yeah, I guess since the stream has disconnected a couple of times, like, I'm kind of leery about continuing the stream. I'm also running real low on stuff to actually talk about now. So I think this is a good time, like, if you guys got any questions, like, this is a good time to just go ahead and ask any questions you might have, and I can try to answer them. So I'll give you all a minute to think about the questioning questions and the people that quest them. And if you got something, great. If you got nothing, great. We have talked about a lot of stuff today. Kind of a wide-ranging discussion of different things. And I'm kind of talked out for the moment. In fact, let me get another drink here while I'm chilling out. Oh, yeah. The Chuck Norris thing. That caused me to miss panels on Sunday that I wanted to go to, too. Because we had to be in line, or we had to be present, which means we couldn't be out. Like, at least that's how I perceived it. You know, you had to be there so your number could get called. So, just had to, like, hang out in Hall A, which I'd already been in, like, the previous day, all day. Kind of stunk. Kind of stunk. I want to be clear, I don't want to blame Chuck Norris for that stuff at all. That ain't his problem. That ain't his fault. He does not have control over how many people want to see him or how the convention handles it. But they kind of dropped the ball there, and that Bryce Papenbrook dude was also just about as busy as Chuck Norris. His line was huge. Oh, we were going to talk about some cool costumes. There's this dude in an 8-foot-tall Space Marine costume walking around. That was really cool. That was really cool. Oh, here we go. Here's my Chuck Norris tickets. I found them. That dude was really cool. I didn't see him, but there was apparently like a show accurate like Deep Space Nine Klingon walking around, which was pretty cool. There's that R2-D2 I mentioned over in Hall C. He was awesome. There was a really cool looking chainsaw man, a dude wearing a great like Monty Python Black Knight outfit. Just a lot of cool costumes in general. I'm trying to think if anybody else really sticks out in my mind. No, I don't. I don't think I got anybody else that really just kind of sticks out as having a super cool costume. So there you go. That's some of the cool costumes I saw. I'm racking my brain here. Let's see what I got written down. Let's see. That's the stuff I'm not going to talk about. Oh, I gotta say, Tim's wife was really patient with their baby because their baby wanted to fuss up a storm. You know how little babies are. Yeah, Scott Malion's writer is named Bryce. I got that here. I don't have his last name written down. Oh, I had the best donut of my life there at this little place that looked like it was going to fall down at any time. Called Country Donuts and Kolaches on Holland Road. That was the like softest donuts I've ever had, man. I had 3 donuts. I had a cream cheese filled, a pink one with sprinkles, and apple fritter. And the apple fritter was just like it should be. It had caramelized a little bit. The pink one with sprinkles, just kind of like it was like biting a cloud. And the cream cheese filled was so soft it just fell apart. Did Shipley's donuts the next day, and they're a little sturdier donuts, but they were also really good. The donuts down there in Texas kill the donuts up here in Wisconsin stand. Like, they absolutely do. Wisconsin donuts do not stand a chance against the donuts down there, man. Like, the best donuts around town up here come from probably Greenbush Bakery, and they're just okay. Like, I'd rather drive like 6 hours and get a Krispy Kreme if it didn't require 6 hours to drive and get a Krispy Kreme. Alright, we seem to be question free. So if that is the case, since I'm kind of out of stuff to talk about and I'm leery about the network dropping again, which I apologize for, that's beyond my control. I don't know what that's about. Maybe I'm just having a bad network day or something. But whatever the case is, I'm going to go restart the router and all that. Like, I should have done that before I started streaming. Just to make sure everything had like fresh connections, because it's been sitting there for who knows how long and all that jazz. Yeah, you all take care of yourselves. I'm losing my voice. I was going to try to stream Chrono Trigger here in a little bit, but I'm not sure I can. We'll see how my throat's feeling after a little bit of rest. So you all take care of yourselves. You have a great one. And yeah, I got nothing else to say. I had a good time at Bell County Comic Con. Was it worth 18 hours of driving both ways? I'm not sure. I am not sure. What I am sure about is that I got to hang out with some cool people, meet some cool people. A story that I think I can tell, real quick, before I stop. It was relayed to me, and I think it was relayed to me a couple years ago, too, when it first happened, but through the rumor mill, I heard that being on the shuttle van with Sergeant Slaughter and Honky Tonk Man was like the best part of the show 2 years ago. I met both those dudes then. They seemed like a blast. Honky Tonk Man was a big talker. Sergeant Slaughter seemed really nice for a guy with Slaughter in his name. But apparently, they were the life of the party on the little shuttle van. So, to them, a thumbs up, because they were both cool dudes who treated me real nice when I was meeting them, except for Sergeant Slaughter put me in that camel clutch from which I am still in shoulder pain to this day. Thank you so much for doing that to me, Sergeant Slaughter. I appreciate it. And to all of you out there in TV land, hanging out with me on YouTube or on your phone or whatever you're doing, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Much love to you. I'm sorry about any interruptions in the stream. Can't do anything about it, but you're getting a thumbs up. And then I'm going to mute my microphone, and we're gonna fade out while a little bit of music plays in the background.